Effect of aging vessels, Clay-Tinajas versus oak barrels on the volatile composition, descriptive sensory profile, and consumer acceptance of red wine. In this presentation, our goal is to offer you a quick summary of the research and conclusions. Please follow the links to review the research in further details. The use of less popular aging vessels, for example Clay-Tinajas, will help in creating unique wines and offer consumers unique experiences. The aim of this study was to evaluate the effect of aging vessels on the volatile and sensory profiles and consumer acceptance of the red wine in Spain and Poland. Wine aging can be defined as various complex physicals, for example micro-oxygenation of the wine, and chemical reactions, which will modify the chemical composition of the young wine, adding complexity and intensity to its flavor. Different vessels can be used for aging. The choice of the aging vessel will significantly affect the final sensory profile of the wine. Aging in wood barrels is the world's most common technique. It changes the color, structure, phenolic profile, and aroma. During aging in the barrel, the wood allows micro-oxygenation of the wine, developing new volatile compounds, and the direct contact with the oak, toasted at different intensities, also introduces several volatile and non-volatile compounds into the wine, leading to wines with woody, toasted, and vanilla notes. Recently, wines fermented and/or aged in clay vessels, Clay-Tinaja wines from now on, are becoming more popular amongst producers and consumers. The goal of aging in Clay-Tinajas is to reproduce the exchange of oxygen that is produced in oak barrels, but without transferring tannins and toasted flavors which mask the primary aromas from the local grape varieties being used. It is expected that the resulting wines will present a more pronounced mineral and fresh character and a cleaner taste and flavor. The aim of this study was to check the effect of wine aging in Clay-Tinajas with and without non-permeable inner coating and oak barrels. A total of 29 volatile compounds were isolated, identified, and quantified in the headspace of 3 wines under study. It can be concluded that the type of inner coating of the Clay-Tinaja through different micro-oxygenation patterns plays a key role in determining the final volatile profile of the wine and probably its sensory profile. Wine aged in a Clay-Tinaja but with non-permeable inner coating had a flatter profile as compared to the other 2 wines. This was because of no direct contact between the wine and the jar. Wine had the characteristic toasted vanilla odor and flavor due to the contact with the oak wood and the barrel, which led to a longer aftertaste. However, these toasted notes were not supported by volatile compounds with oak or toasted sensory descriptors. Wine had a mineral odor and flavor and is astringent perhaps due to the migration of minerals, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, from the clay vessel to the wine. There are significantly higher contents of potassium, magnesium, and sodium in wine aged in Clay-Tinajas as compared to wines aged in wood barrels. In addition, an increase of sodium and potassium contents was observed along the aging time due to the increased time of contact between the wine and the clay. The attribute mineral, odor, and flavor can be considered as the key sensory maker to study the effect of the clay pot on the wine. The intensity of this attribute will be positively linked to the direct contact between the wine and the clay. Comparing the consumer behavior in general, Spanish consumers prefer more complex types of red wine with notes of vanilla, spices, and wood, while Polish consumers prefer softer red wines because they are basically sour and soft white wine drinkers. To conclude, the goal of this study was to compare the opinion of Spanish, a wine-producing country, and Polish, a non-wine producing country, consumers towards wine with different aging techniques to determine if they affect consumer acceptance and if this acceptance is related to what consumers are used to drinking. It has shown how the aging in Clay-Tinajas and oak barrels affected the volatile and sensory profiles and consumer acceptance of red wine in Spain and Poland. The results obtained showed that the predominant volatile family composition was acids for wine A, aged in Clay-Tinajas, and esters for wine B, aged in Clay-Tinajas without coating, and wine C, aged in oak barrels for control. Wine A was described as sour and bitter, while these attributes being highly attractive to Polish consumers as they are used to find the high intensity of these attributes in their daily consumed white wines. Wines B and C, mainly the second one, were preferred ones for Spanish consumers, and this performance was linked to high intensities of odor, alcohol, and fruity flavor notes and long aftertaste. Red wines without oaky or mineral notes, for example wine A, were highly appreciated in Poland because of their sourness and freshness, which are highly familiar for them because they are very much used to drink white wine. Finally, new wines prepared using old aging methods, for example Clay-Tinajas, can represent a real opportunity as consumers clearly identified the different sensory profile of these wines.